God bless you, loved ones. Welcome to the Word with Chester. Today we'll begin study in the 19th chapter of the book of Exodus. Let me pause to thank you as I always do, but always know that my words are genuine. I love you with the love of the Lord, and I do appreciate that you take of your valuable time to watch this ministry. I know that there are many ministries on the internet and on radio, on television, all across our lands. And God has blessed you to link up with me, and I want you to know how much I appreciate you for that. I ask that you pray for this ministry on a daily basis. Pray that God will give me the strength to carry on. Also pray that He will anoint me for His service and take this ministry to mastery. I do know that this is a stepping stone. God has us in this ministry getting ready to do greater things for us, and I want to be prepared for it, and I need you to pray for me that God will give me the strength and the knowledge to get to where He would have us to go. Well, shall we read from the 19th chapter, verse 1. I may go through the complete chapter today. We're going to do a lot of reading. Sometimes we do more reading than commentary. Other times we do more commentary than reading because however God leads, some things don't need a lot of commentary, but they're self-explanatory, and God is laying groundwork and through His Word, letting you know what happened, and sometimes He's letting you know what He expects of you. I want you to know that I love the Lord with all my heart, and I take this very seriously to impart the Word of God to you. Shall we begin our reading today? Verse 1, chapter 19, the book of Exodus. And in the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they unto the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had encamped in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. Well, we got two words there. We got desert and wilderness. Sometimes they interchange. Certain versions of the Bible, they may say desert. King James may say wilderness. In this particular verse, it says them both, the desert and wilderness. Let me read it again. In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert in Sinai, and had encamped in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. Shall we continue reading in verse 3? And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings, and brought you forth unto myself. Well, God wanted Moses to tell the children of Israel this, what He's done for them. Now, those are some big words. You have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and we know what that was. He overthrew them there in the Red Sea, and how I bore you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Well, what a wonderful, wonderful verse. He bore them on eagle's wings and brought them to Himself. Let's read verse 5. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. You got to understand, the entire earth is the Lord's. All of us belong to God. But these, He said, you'll be a peculiar people, a people of His own, or a people that stand out, a people with great significance. You're peculiar. You're not like everyone else. You'll be, verse 5 again, and therefore if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. Let's read verse 6. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests. This is what you're going to be now, a kingdom of priests. Here he's talking to the children of Israel, but he's talking to his people, all of those that are his people. You got to understand, you will be a kingdom of priests, a kingdom of priests. Now, what do you mean, priest? A priest has access to God. A priest has communication with God. Well, you got to understand, you will be a kingdom of priests. It won't be just one or two people that have access to God, but there'll be a kingdom. The kingdom will be priests, and ye shall be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. He's talking to Moses now. Let's read in verse 7. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their face all these words which the Lord commanded them. Verse 8 reads, and all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord has spoken we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. Can you understand the situation? Moses being that mediator, that Moses being the one that God spoke to. He went and spoke to the people, and then God relayed Moses relayed the message back to God what the people had said. Although God knew all the time, but Moses was actually the mediator that went between God and these people. Now let's read in verse 9. And the Lord said unto Moses, Lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. Shall we continue reading? That was verse 9. Let's read verse 10. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go unto the people, and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. What do you mean? Clean them up. Go sanctify them. Let them clean themselves up. Let them wash themselves, wash their clothes, and not only wash their clothes, but clean their attitude up and clean their mindset up. All of these things are in sanctification. Don't be afraid of the word sanctified or sanctification. All it means is cleaned up, and we all should clean up and walk worthy to be in the presence of the Lord. Shall we continue reading in verse 11? And be ready on the third day, for the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. Verse 12, and thou shalt set bounds unto the people around about, saying, Take heed to yourself, that ye go not up unto the mount, nor touch the borders of it. Whosoever touches the mount shall be surely put to death. Now, you got to understand God-given stipulation. You got to understand that God is holy. He's set apart. Everybody just can't approach him just like they want to. So God instructed Moses to set boundaries around so the people that won't come in and rush him, wanting to see more. You got to understand there's something about people. They never get enough. When they hear his voice, they want to see more. What is this all about? So many, if they would not have been given instructions and boundaries, probably would have rushed in trying to see more of God, and they would have been put to death. You got to understand God is holy, and all he's got to do is speak the word and say, stay back, and you got to stay back. All he has to do is speak the word and say, die, and you die. You got to understand God is that powerful and that awesome just to come into his holiness. You cannot come anyway. Everybody, you're going to get mad at me at this, but I'm going to say it anyway. God has chosen people to come in closer to him and to communicate with him more than he does everybody else. We all have access to God. We can all pray to him. We can all talk to him. He will talk to us. But there's some places in God that he reserves for an elect few. And you got to understand Moses was in that group. Others were in that group. I've tried to be in that group myself. I love the Lord with all my heart. But you got to understand, you can't just do anything and say anything when you come before the Lord. You have to be clean. Your mindset have to be right. You have to love Him with all your heart, and you have to be obedient to Him and willing to keep His covenant with you. Well, let's read on in verse 13. And there shall not an hand touch it. You can't touch the mountain, not one hand. Thou shalt not an hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned and shot through, whether it be a beast or man, it shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mountain. Can you understand? God giving instruction through Moses. Verse 14, and Moses went down from the mount unto the people, and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. Let's read on in verse 15. And he said unto the people, be ready on the third day. Come not near your wives. What do you mean, come not near your wives? Sanctify yourself. Sanctify your mind now. Don't come near your wives. We're talking about in a sexual manner. No, there's nothing wrong with sex. But sometimes you need to sanctify your mind, purify your mind from all carnalness, all the things of this world and all the pleasures that we have here, and put your mind on the true and the living God. So he said, don't let them come near their wives, as we continue reading. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceedingly loud, so that all the people that were in the camp trembled. Well, you got to understand, they feared, they trembled because of all of the things that were going on, the lightnings and the clouds upon the mountain, and the voice of the trumpet exceedingly loud. So they trembled. Let's read 17. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the lower part of the mountain. Well, get the picture. They're going to get to see a part of this God. Now, you got to understand, the Bible said no man has seen God at any time, but we can see His work, and we can see His magnificence. Why? Because He's God, and if He chooses to show us Him and His attributes, what He's about, and the power and the aura of Him, He can do just that. In verse 18, and Mount Sinai was altogether in a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in a fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain quaked greatly. Can you get this picture, the majesticness? When the Lord came in the mountain, the fire, like a fire going up from the furnace, the whole mountain quaking and shaking. Why? Because of the glory of God. God is showing Himself, was showing Himself to the people, showing them His power. Let's read in verse 19. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and became louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God answered him by a voice. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain, and the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. Get this picture. Now, you got to understand why God does some things. God does things in that magnificence so that they would know that what Moses is telling them is real. You got to understand the mindset of people. If they did not have some kind of proof, after a while they'd have been saying, oh, this Moses, this Moses ain't all of that. And people would have begun to rebel because they wouldn't want to listen to this Moses. But God was letting them know that He was with Moses. And let me let you know something. When God lets you know that He's with someone, you better be careful how you treat them. Because when you treat them wrong, you invite the hand of God to do you wrong. wrong, or to do you in a just manner in the sight of the Lord. Well, he can even rub you out if you please. Let's read it that. Let's read on again in verse 20. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mount, and the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up, and the Lord said unto Moses, Go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord to gaze, and many of them perish. Well, can you understand just what I told you a while ago? Many of them would have tried to break through so they could see more, but God has instructed Moses, go warn the people so they won't do this. Let's read verse 22. And let the priests also who came near to the Lord sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them. Even the priests, let them sanctify themselves. Let them clean themselves up. Verse 23, and Moses said unto the Lord, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for thou chargest us, saying, set bounds about the mount, and sanctify it. Well, shall we read in verse 24, and the Lord said unto him, away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up. Let me read that again. And the Lord said unto him, talking about Moses, away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee, but let not the priest and the people break through to come up unto the Lord, lest he break forth upon them. In other words, he's given specific orders. Get down. Let the people know they cannot come here. Let the priests know that they cannot come. He gave commission for Moses to come and Aaron to come, but instructed for the priest and all the elders of Israel and all the people of Israel that they should not break past that boundary to come up to where God is. Let's read verse 25. And Moses went down into the people and spoke unto them. What a marvelous setting, seeing the true work of God and God in his awesomeness. He is a wonderful God, and we're going to read more. He's going to talk to us more. We're going to get more understanding about him. I want you to be here in our next setting. You will be blessed by the things that is in our next lesson, and I want you to know I'm going to do all that I can to impart them to you and give you scriptural insight of what God is talking about in our next lesson. I want you to know that I love you, my friends. I love you with the love of the Lord. If you would like to contact me for any reason, you can write me at the Word with Chester Ministries, Post Office Box 200483, San Antonio, Texas, 78220. You can also reach me at my website, www.poemsbychester.com. Now, remember our CD. If you purchase this, you can purchase it through Amazon.com. You can purchase it through iTunes. You can purchase it through TuneCore or anywhere on the World Wide Web. I think we have 70 to 100 stores that this is sold on the World Wide Web. You can buy it from anywhere in the world. This particular CD, most of the songs, I wrote them myself. If you purchase it, it will be a blessing to you. And you will be a blessing to this ministry. I've also released, on January 31st, I released a new song. You might want to check it out. It is also not on this album, but it is also will be sold as a single. You can purchase it at iTunes. You can purchase it at TuneCore. All the places that our music is sold. Anywhere on the World Wide Web. And it will be a blessing to you as well. I want you to know that I love you, my friends. I love you with the love of the Lord. God bless you.